In the middle of a dark, stormy night, when the wind howled like a pack of wolves and the rain hammered against the windows with a fury that seemed to match the desperation of the world, a young mother cat lay crumpled in the corner of a narrow alley, her fur matted with dirt and blood, and her body barely clinging to life as her tiny kittens mewed helplessly around her, their tiny bodies shivering with cold and fear. The storm raged on, and the city seemed to forget the tiny, struggling family, its towering buildings offering no refuge, no sanctuary, but only a cold, indifferent view from above. Yet, against all odds, a miracle was about to unfold, one that no one, least of all the mother, could have imagined. Just when it seemed like the tiny family would be lost to the cruel elements, a shadow emerged from the darkness, a figure whose eyes shone with an unnatural warmth and whose movements were swift and sure, as though driven by something beyond human understanding. It was a woman, though not just any woman, but one who had known loss too deeply, too personally, to ignore the faint cries of the helpless kittens. She had been walking home from a late shift, weary and drained, when the sound of those desperate little mews pierced the storm like a dagger to the heart, a sound that compelled her to change her course. Without hesitation, she followed the cry until she found them, mother and kittens, huddled together, helpless and on the brink of death. The woman didn't think twice. With trembling hands, she scooped up the sickly mother cat, whose eyes were dull with pain and exhaustion, and gently cradled her in her arms, whispering soft words of comfort, as if her touch alone could chase away the despair. The kittens, wide-eyed and frantic, scattered in every direction, but she was not deterred. She reached out, her hands trembling with urgency, and gathered the kittens into her embrace, feeling the fragile weight of their tiny bodies as they snuggled into her warmth, finding solace in the safety of her arms. There, in that storm-swept alley, under the unrelenting night sky, the woman's heart swelled with a determination she hadn't known she possessed. She couldn't leave them behind, not when they were so close to death. With a surge of strength, she managed to lift the fragile family into her arms and stagger toward the safety of her apartment, her mind racing with thoughts of what would become of them. She knew she had to act fast. The mother cat was barely breathing, and the kittens were weak, their cries growing fainter with every passing second. But the woman's heart refused to give in to despair. She was not going to let them die, not tonight. As she reached her apartment, she rushed inside, careful not to jostle the fragile bundle in her arms, and immediately called the local animal rescue. The voice on the other end of the line was calm but urgent, and within minutes, a team of volunteers arrived, equipped with medical supplies, ready to save the lives of the tiny, helpless creatures. With careful hands, they tended to the mother cat, giving her fluids and warmth to restore the life that had nearly been drained from her. They administered medicine to the kittens, who had been so close to death, and within minutes, the small bodies began to show signs of improvement. Tiny breaths became steadier, their little hearts beat with more force, and the color slowly returned to their cheeks. The woman stood by, unable to speak, tears streaming down her face as she watched the miracle unfold before her eyes. She had saved them. She had somehow brought them back from the brink of death, and now they were alive. Over the next few weeks, the woman, whose name was Emily, devoted herself to nursing the mother cat and her kittens back to health. She found a local animal shelter willing to adopt them once they were strong enough, but in the meantime, she watched in awe as the kittens grew stronger and more playful with each passing day. The mother, who had once been so frail and lifeless, began to regain her strength, and soon she was purring contentedly as she curled up next to Emily, who had become a silent guardian of their second chance at life. The story of that dramatic rescue spread like wildfire among the local community, a tale of hope, compassion, and the miraculous power of kindness when it was needed most. People who had heard the story were moved to tears, and some even came forward to offer donations to animal rescue organizations, inspired by the woman's selflessness and the profound bond that had been forged between her and the tiny family she had saved. Emily, for her part, never sought recognition, and she rarely spoke about the rescue. But there were moments when she would look into the eyes of the mother cat, who would gaze back at her with a look of deep, unspoken gratitude, and she would know that, in some way, she had changed the course of their lives forever. And as for the kittens, they grew up,